Hola, boa noite. Munson here with the Portugal Show from expatsportugal.com. Now, talking of which, I had an unusual face-to-face meeting with my colleagues in Lisbon today, and that's why I'm a little bit late. Just got back from Lisbon, would you believe, on Portugal's excellent toll roads. A little bit expensive, but very, very good roads. From where I live, nearly 200 kilometers away from the capital. Lovely drive down this morning after this morning show, and a lovely drive back this evening. Also dropped into Portugal's excellent Via Verde service station system and got myself a little snack to give myself a little bit of energy. Had a fabulous meal in... Oh, is it? Let me just have a look at the card in my pocket from today's important luncheon meeting down under. A fabulous restaurant in Lisbon, in the Estrela district. My favorite part of Lisbon, as it happens, not far from the main sort of parliament. I think it's the parliament offices, where those unfortunate fellows recently were camped out, the bread and water movement, Pau e Agua movement, whose protest, I think, has been suspended, pending further help from the government. But what a fabulous day. Lunch at Down Under, some serious discussions and some festive cheer with my colleagues Jerry and Astrid from Expats Portugal, looking at how we can best help you in the year ahead, strategizing, planning, and seeing how best we can help you. And actually, while I'm about it, do let me know what you think about that. How can we improve our service to you from expatsportugal.com? And of course, you can ask me anything about driving on Portugal's roads, on the toll roads, driving into Lisbon. The excellent hire car company I use, Zest, are rather fabulous, very easygoing, and lacking the intensity of some of those insurance companies. Those car hire. I call them insurance companies because that's what they've become, isn't it? Some of the bigger hire corporate brands of car hire feel like they're selling you insurance rather than offering you a car, or as well as offering you a car. And I've got a lovely relationship with Zest and one of their suppliers, Rent Auto, who I've been using for the last, getting on for 3 years now here in Portugal. So yeah, car hire, driving on the roads here, driving to Lisbon, driving in and out of Lisbon, driving around Lisbon, Australian lunches in Lisbon. I can tell you all about that today. And I'd love to hear from you how we can best support you. And of course, Wednesdays here on the Good Morning Portugal show and on tonight's Portugal show, all about this new concept, Ask Anything About Portugal, hashtag AAP. Let's see if we can get this trending. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if I get 2 or 3 questions tonight asking anything about Portugal, I'll do my best to help you. And that, to me, is trending, okay? We occupy, I think, a rather marvelous niche here of people wanting to move to Portugal, and of course supporting the community who are already here. But anything you want to know about moving here, anything you want to know about life here if you're a newbie, and actually even if you've been here a long time, there still might be things that don't make sense to you. So do ask those questions. Let's just see who is here in the comments. And what I should have done, it was so embarrassing this morning. I was talking like this for about 5 or 6 minutes, I think, and I didn't look at the comments. And I went to the comments after doing the weather. No sound, no sound. Hello, Carl, hello. No sound here. And there I was talking to myself for the first 6 minutes of the show. So sorry if you went through that this morning. Gladly, that's not happening this evening, it would appear. Everybody can hear me, I think. Can I have a few thumbs up and likes if you can hear me? That would be awesome if you could do that. And let's say hello to a few of the people who are here tonight. Before I pour myself a white port, I was hoping to have grabbed my Ferreira white port, but I've ended up with the old geezer brand, the Veloce, I think. Joel will be able to tell me who I'm saying hello to now, who's saying to us a bon night from Joel. I'm going to make do with the Veloce and not the Donna Antonia that this beautiful little glass came with last week, and that was our tasting in the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club last Thursday. But white port is white port as far as I'm concerned, and I'm going to be sipping one of those whilst we talk this evening. So yes, Joel, thanks for saying hi. Honeymoon Always, love your name and what I think it is that you do, a travel blog and site. Yeah, oi, Carl, that's pretty familiar and quite right too. And oi right back at you there, Honeymoon Always. Tell us more about what you do. I can give you the link. You can join me on screen if you want and tell us about what you do and why you love Portugal and possibly Lisbon. So if you'd like that honeymoon always, let me know. Give me a thumbs up or a shout out in the comments, and we'll get you on screen. Talk about it tonight. Olá, boa noite a todos from Eric J. Hi, Eric. Great to hear from you, and great to be in correspondence with you. Sorry, I missed your first email way back. Layla Mollahan, has the increase in expats in the past few years added or detracted from the experience of moving there? Great question, Layla. I will come back to that. That's our first of Ask Anything About Portugal. And of course, the answers are welcome in the comments as much as from my mind. You'll only get my opinions and one dimension from me. Let's furnish that picture. You other expats here, and even you Portuguese people, what would you like to say about that? Hello, boa night from Lauren and Andrew. Hello, folks. How are you? Hope all your plans are coming together nicely. I think they are, aren't they? Driving in Lisbon is a good experience, especially on the A5. Which is the A5, Dinesh? Is that the one that goes out to Cascais? It's not the A2, is it, that goes up and down to the Algarve? I think A5 is either the Sintra or Cascais road. And the wink there, does that mean when it's not blocked up and you're in a massive tailback? I mean, I do like driving in Lisbon. I was driving through, on the elevated sections of the highway, the IP7 possibly, and you see so much of Lisbon from the elevated section of the road. And today there was the most beautiful full arc rainbow over Lisbon. It was absolutely lovely. So yes, Dinesh, I do love driving Lisbon. I'm a bit of a country boy now because I live up north, 200 kilometers just about away from Lisbon, up in a place called Anadia in the Aveiro district. And I was thinking, whilst I was sat at traffic lights, I was thinking, hold on a minute, have I got any traffic lights in my town? And I don't think there are any traffic lights. I think it's all roundabouts, and it's so easy to get about. And then I was in Lisbon. I've lived in Lisbon before, or near Lisbon. And as much as I love living there, I'm thinking, hold on a minute, I'm spending too much time in the car. It's too much time at traffic lights. There's too much going on. And I'm actually, I really love being there today, but I really love central and rural Portugal as well. So it's a boa noite from you as well, Dinesh. New name, and I think you're joining us via YouTube. Yes, you are, absolutely. And your question, oh, hold on a minute, loads of questions, fabulous. Come back to you in just a moment with your questions, Dinesh. What's the best way to quickly purchase a used car in Portugal? Is there any way to get some of the shopping done before arriving in Portugal? Is that for buying a car? Okay, I'll come back to that as well. Fantastic, thank you. I think this Ask Anything About Portugal thing is rather good. But I'll let you be the judge of that. What is the best way to move to Portugal in the light of Brexit, says Dinesh. Where from? Let me know where you are, Dinesh, and I'll attempt to answer that. But hello, Victoria. Bon night to you from Atlanta, of course. Carmen Souza. Hola from Ginette, San Miguel. I made it. Good evening to you, Carmen. Lovely to see you here again. And hola, bon night. What's the best way to move to Portugal in the light of Brexit? We've done that one. We'll come back to it. By the way, driving in Lisbon is a good experience. Hold on a minute. We're getting repeat questions here. So good is the question. He asked it twice. Yes, the one to Sintra. Yes, the A5. It is lovely. Compared to London traffic, the jams in Lisbon are pretty tame. That's true, unless, of course, you're trying to cross the river, Dinesh. So you're from London, do I take it? Road rage, Cole? Not quite, Will. Most of the time, you know what the toll roads are like. You get them to yourself. And maybe that's what you pay all the money for, is to enjoy, plain sailing. I mean, in the quieter bits is absolutely delightful. And yes, so Dinesh is from the UK. We'll come back to you on that. But night, Carl made it again. Thanks, Peter. And thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. And Dinesh, moving to Portugal from UK. Okay. Has anyone purchased a motorcycle in Portugal? Also transferring a motorcycle license from the US? And I'm immediately feeling a bit embarrassed because I don't know the answer to that. But I'll find out for you, Lauren. That's the whole thing about this process. If I can't answer, if we together can't answer in the community that's online tonight, we will, of course, take it to the forum or take it to the experts, and we'll get back to you. Okay, so we need to find out what you need to know. Otherwise, how can we best serve you? So, Joel, to go back to that question, whose question was that about buying? James McPherson. Okay. James, what's the best way to quickly purchase a used car in Portugal? And is there any way to get some of the shopping done before arriving in Portugal? Now, one of the things I would recommend is joining the ACP. It's quite new to me, but it's one of the perks of joining Expats Portugal. I'll put in the link to our premium membership, which is only €25. It's going to go up, folks. It's the same countdown as Brexit, and we'll be putting the price up of our of the membership fee for expatsportugal.com. But you get a stack of benefits when you do join, and which far outweigh the outlay of €25. And one of the benefits you get is a discount off the ACP, Automóvel Club de Portugal, which is like, the AAA or the AA or the RAC over here in Portugal. And they've got a stack of their own benefits that extend into every area of your daily life, pretty much, as well as being, the basics of roadside assistance and towing your car and all that sort of stuff and helping you out when you break down. They extend into medical. They will help you matriculate cars. And I would thoroughly recommend signing up with them, getting a discount via us. And I think it's only something like, even for the best service they offer, which is breakdown and recovery, it's only about €90. It's under €100 for the year, and you can pay it monthly. So when it comes to buying a car, Joel up in Porto says, my advice to buy a used car cheap, use the OLX.pt or OLX, as a foreigner might say it. And that is like the eBay of Portugal. Okay, so good for all sorts of things, not least cars, or even Facebook Marketplace. Car dealers usually are an option, of course, but cars tend to be more expensive than buying them from private owners. So, it's one of those things in Portugal, James. If you are buying a car, it's great to be buying a car from a friend of a friend, and you need to make yourself. Oh, look, someone else who's looking for a car too. Hello, Louise. Good evening to you. I'm on the hunt for a car too, she says. And she's also adding, I've only been a member of Expats for a couple of months, and I've recouped the small cost in discounts already. Boom. Thank you, Louise, for saying that. And tomorrow, Friday night, actually, Carl, Friday night in the Man Cave, I could talk about how to buy cars in Portugal. Yes, let's cover that, Joel. So do come back then, James, as well. Peter's thanking you, Joel, for the OLX.pt. Yeah, it's good to know about for all manner of things. But I would say get yourself a BFF, a Portuguese best friend forever. You need someone on the ground who understands the territory. And you're going to find that person by, I don't know, if you're working, you'll find somebody like that. If in your village, in your town, hang out in cafes, be sociable like the Portuguese are at the best of times, and get to know people. Get to know a taxi driver, a barber, get to know local people. And that's how you're going to hear about a car on the grapevine. And when you buy it from somebody who knows somebody, I think the word of mouth and that little bit of social reputation, you don't want to be selling a dud car, do you, to a friend? So you want to cash in on that kind of vibe. And so make friends with people in Portugal. Ask someone in Portugal if they can help you, if they know of anybody selling a car. To me, I mean, I don't want to own a car personally, not at the moment anyway. So I hire a brand new car when I need it, and enjoy the benefits of having a brand new and maintained car. I don't have to do anything with taxing it or insuring it. I just pick it up and drop it off as I want to use it, and it's very, very good value. Like it can be under €10 a day to have an excellent quality car. Obviously, you're going to save a lot if you do invest in a banger. But excuse me, that is one option as well. If you're living in a town, to not have a car and to use Ubers, and then hire one when you want to. If you're in Lisbon, it's going to be absolutely fine hiring. So that's my suggestion there, James, so far, straight off the bat. And you'll be in the Man Cave with us to hear more on Friday. Fantastic, with Joel's guide to buying a second-hand car in Portugal. Fantastic. Louise says, oh no, does that mean I have to watch the Man Cave? We might take out that segment, Louise, and make it a standalone little program there, so you won't have to suffer the puerile humor of the man. It's not all bad, but if it's not your cup of tea, it could be quite tedious, I'm sure, to see grown men allegedly having a drink and behaving like they're down the local. Okay, so James, other things may come up about that. When you say, is there any way to get some of the shopping done before arriving in Portugal? I guess, yeah, if you go on to olg.pt, you could be arranging viewings of cars, couldn't you? And you could start talking to people. And you might even find somebody who's a bit of a dealer on olx.pt, OLG, and you've made a contact there and then, and in the area you want to live in. So that could be a way of getting some of the shopping done before arriving in Portugal. And I think part of ACP is that the membership we recommend of the Automobile Club of Portugal is, I think they do vehicle checks and they will help you. I think they do give support to people buying cars, so another good reason to join the ACP. Let's move on then to thank you for that question, James. Really appreciate it, helping us tonight on this edition of this hashtag of AAP. Ask anything about Portugal, our new feature that we kicked off this morning. Another question coming in. I need to take a sip of white port. Bear with me. Excuse me. Yum. That's not the best one in the house, but it's the one I laid my hands on, and that'll do nicely. Oh, that's warming me up very nicely. So what is the best way to move to Portugal in the light of Brexit? Dinesh, you might have to give me a bit of context. Obviously, we're in the transition period. Let me just show you on Expats Portugal the countdown, which is a countdown to the end of the transition period to the 31st of January, when our price goes up as well on expatsportugal.com. But just to give you a bit of a just to sort of put a spring in your step maybe and help you to get a move on, if I share this on my screen for you now, you will see, let's have a look, share the right tab with you. I think this is the right one. Yeah, no, it's not. I'll just go through to the home page. Actually, I'll run through the benefits in a little while as well of joining with us. Actually, I might have to do that now because I can't find the page I'm looking for on my own website. Would you believe it? I think it's because I've been on there so much myself. It's not. Oh, here we go. Yeah, but yes, that is the screen I'm sharing with you. 15 days, 1 hour and 35 minutes. Not to put the pressure on or anything. Let's just make sure you can see that where you are looking at the screen right now. There you go. I'll make that a bit easier. And I'll take off that banner of Ask Anything About Portugal. We'll come back to that. But look, let me run through these benefits with you. By becoming a valued premium member today, you will unlock some of the great privileges, freebies and perks. But hurry, premium membership is due for a price increase from its current level of €25 on the 1st of January 2021. And that's just 15 days away. And the reason I was reminded to mention this is because, of course, that is the countdown on the transition period when UK leaves Brexit as well. But while we're here, let me just go through these for you. You get guaranteed access to our interactive webinars, and you can see from our What's On calendar what sort of things come up. For example, tomorrow night, we're talking to our partners, EI, about the D2 visa. Ordinarily, people talk a lot about the D7 visa coming over from the States, but there is a D2 visa, which is an entrepreneur's kind of startup visa as well for people wanting to start a business and create some enterprise here in Portugal. So we'll be talking all about that tomorrow with Gilda from EI Migration Services, and you'll get a guaranteed seat on that if you are a premium member. You can browse the forum with no advertising. You'll only see our partners. You won't see Google ads and that sort of thing. You'll get 20% off Spotter Home. If you don't know what that is, Spotter Home is it's a bit like the Airbnb of longer term rentals, because part of moving to Portugal for D7 people and other visas is that you need to show that you've got a lease here, that you're living here. Not so easy. It happens sometimes with Airbnb because your Airbnb landlord might change that for you and provide you with a lease. But Spotter Home is, as I understand it, a legitimate lease to be showing to the authorities here in Portugal. So it's longer term rentals than you obviously get with Airbnb. So you get 20% discount off Spotter Home, 25% discount off Automobile Club de Portugal, which I've already told you about, and then access to all the wonderful things that they do, which include medical services and domestic services, plumbers and all that sort of thing. You get a 15% discount off Mia Esmerez's online Portuguese language academy. She's got some great online tools for learning European Portuguese, and you'll get 15% off those if you become a premium member. You'll get a free tax consultation with All Finance Matters, AFM. You'll get a 50% discount off golf at the Lisbon Sports Club. You'll get 10% discount off Enjoy Portugal. And Peter von Noonen's fabulous real estate buying services, not just real estate. I mean, he's a great advisor and consultant. You get 10% off his services, 10% off the aforementioned EI. Migration, Migranta, moving to Portugal services, 10% off law firm Reyes and Pelicano, the international law firm who we speak to on our webinars as well. 5% discount off Eurosender, shipping and freight costs with them. 10% off our business directory advertising if you want to put an advert in there. 10% discount off our Ask Our Expats services, which is new, where you can talk to people like me and other people who've lived in Portugal as expats, and actually some real Portuguese people as well. You get a 10% discount off your consultations with them, and you can buy and sell items in our classified forum. And being part of this, you help us grow our service as well. So currently only €25. That will go up in 15 days' time, the countdown towards the end of the year. And of course, coming back then to the question that Dinesh asks, which is what is it the best way? Yeah, the best way to move to Portugal in the light of Brexit. The best way, if I may be flippant about this, is to get on with it, Dinesh. You need to come to Portugal. You need to prove you are living here, or you intend to, and you are living here. And you'll need a valid passport with some good. For me, with my passport, it ran out this year. The rest of my family had longer passports than me, so they got their residency permits for the full 5 years. I got mine up until the limit of the validity of my passport. So I renewed my passport, and I've renewed my residency recently. So if you are a UK person and you are part of the transition period, still a UK person within the EU under the transition period, you can apply for temporary residency here in Portugal. And we have a number of videos about that, about what you need to do. So, I mean, the almost flippant but true answer to that is to get on with it, because it's very likely, we don't know exactly yet, but it's very likely that come the 1st of January, the UK will be treated as a third country, and you'll go through the visa processes that Americans or anyone else would do. And now is the time, in these 15 days that are left, to crack on with it, to come here, to choose to be living here and apply for residency. You have to prove that you are a resident in the country through something called an atestado, which shows that you live in the place you say you're living in, and you need to share that to your Câmara Municipal. So you get the proof that you live in the place you're living in at the parish level. You go to the town or city level to apply for your residency documents. So I hope that helps. I mean, the key thing here is to crack on with it. We've had a number of conversations with the British Embassy, telling people exactly what to do, and the process. So you might want to consult there as well. Go to gov.uk to find out more about that. So I hope that helps, Dinesh. Come back at me with more if you need to know more. You've obviously been to Portugal before, if you know the A5 road. Lauren, has anyone purchased a motorcycle in Portugal? Also transferring a motorcycle license from the US? I have no clue. And I recommend that you or I put that inside the forum. That's the sort of question that I think would be answered in the expatsportugal.com forum. There are likely to be, Portugal, Dinesh is saying there the A5 road is great. But if you were to use Portugal's Route 66 road and go on a motorbike road trip, you would have a fantastic time, Laura and Andrew. Be careful. The roads are not the safest in Europe, but they are some of the most beautiful, and you have to be absolutely road wise, and take the view that everyone's out to get you on the road when you're vulnerable on your motorbike. That would be my advice. But what a fabulous country to tour on a motorbike. Pop that in the forum. Ask who uses a motorbike here in this country and see if they're American, how they've managed to transfer their motorcycle license. And similarly, where to buy a motorbike. I don't know if Joel can extend his knowledge and expertise to that on the Man Cave on Friday night? Maybe. It's going to be similar territory, isn't it? Buying a motorbike as it is buying a car. Portuguese bikes. Did you know about Portuguese bicycles experiencing a massive global demand because of the pandemic, because of the lockdown? People turning to bicycles. It would appear they can't keep up with the demand in the world. It's been one of the silver linings of this situation, this sorry situation, is that worldwide demand for Portuguese bikes has gone sky high. And who knew even? I mean, I shamefully say that at the beginning, I did the same thing at the beginning of the lockdown. I thought, I'll get myself a bicycle. If in case there are fuel shortages, whatever, great to have a bike to go to the shops on. Went and bought a blooming Spanish bike. I didn't know about Portuguese bikes, but you do now that I've told you. So buy a Portuguese bike, the high quality, well respected, and in huge demand around the world. So I hope that's, not massively helpful, Lauren, but I think we're moving in the right direction for that. What else have we got coming in with the questions? Dinesh comes to Portugal, or Lisbon anyway, 5 times a year, although not in 2020. Yes, of course, because that has been rather difficult, hasn't it? Louise, take Carl's advice, Dinesh, and get on a plan and do it. Yes, Louise speaks from experience. I think you got a wiggle on, didn't you? Before, when you realised time was running out, Louise. I don't know how much you want to say about your situation, but here you go. Yeah, I did the same a few weeks ago, and I am a happy new resident of Portugal. All the advice you need is on the expat site. Thank you, Louise, very much indeed. Yeah, and being the other side of it and thinking, well, how do I do all of this stuff? I think now you've done it all. It's like, whoa, that wasn't so bad. As if I recall correctly, if I report your experience correctly, Louise, there are things that have to be done. You have to prove that you live here. You may have to show that you can support yourself, and you may have to face questioning of a limited, a few pointed questions to make sure that you can support yourself, to make sure that you are here in good faith and with good intentions, and that you do actually live here. And it's fairly straightforward once you've done all of that, and you can celebrate with a 5-year residency permit, which you can then convert after 5 years if you learn the language into permanent residency as an application. It is another process. But what a great deal, what a great legacy of the EU. However all of that turns out, for some of us Brits, that has been the most amazing thing, and we really are very lucky. Louise, you're taking the heat tonight, Louise. How and where did you register, please? I'll let you answer that. I need to scroll back up because the questions are coming in thick and fast. This is fantastic. Really good. How to find a job if someone don't speak Portuguese? Gohar Ali on Facebook. Well, do you know what? If you're not coming here having already got a job, in all honesty, I think you're going to struggle. Okay, it was pretty difficult before the pandemic, and the economic crash that's sure to follow. The crash in tourism, all of that that is happening to Portugal at the moment. It was hard enough for Portuguese people to find work and live on the pitiful minimum wage here. So it was never going to be easy for someone coming over to compete at that level of finding a new job in Portugal. Coming here with a job promise is much better. Find work before you come. Find work with an international company or start a business or something like that. Find out more about the D2 visa with Gilda and EI tomorrow night. But really, if you don't have work and you don't have a means of supporting yourself, or you don't have online income, that sort of thing, you may regret coming. I don't want to, pee on your chips, as it were, or put you off, but I just want to be realistic with you as well. It's not going to be easy to find work. It never was, just going around finding work in Portugal, and I think that's going to get harder. I had the most beautiful night in the village. Portuguese are all heart, says Will. Tell us more, Will. That sounds wonderful. I got to scroll back up here. This is fantastic. Thanks, everybody. Let me see. Where are we? Whilst I've been rabbiting, so many questions have come in. So we've done that for you, Dinesh, about moving to Portugal as a Brit, and before Brexit really happens at the end of this month. Get on with it, basically. Let's have a look. Yes, I'll be back Friday, says James, about buying a car, and Joel's guide to buying a second-hand car. Peter Bleach, can you put the place you hire your car in the chat, Carl? Yes, the combo I really like are Zest and Rent Auto. Mention my name if you speak to Zest and you make a booking, and I promise they won't put the phone down. It might help. It might not, but it might help. And I'll put that up in the comments now. That Zest Rent Auto. So Zest are like a broker for car hire companies, and they draw on a whole range of car hire companies in Portugal. Some want big deposits, some don't. Some will give you perks like, you know, a number of additional drivers. They've all got all the Portuguese car rental companies have got their own little quirks. By far, for me, the best is Rent Auto. They're so laid back and easygoing, and they're not intense, and it's not all about that insurance upsell stuff. So go in on Zest, the British company Zest. I think it's zest.co.uk. But if you put Zest car hire on a search, you're going to find them. And then when all the names come up of the car hire companies, Rent Auto might be a little bit more expensive than, let's say, you know, somebody based in the Algarve who's is going to be like 4-5 euros a day. But what those guys want to do is get you buying the insurance, which you're paying a different way, unless of course you just say, no, I've got my own insurance, I'll take the €4 a day deal. It's doable. You can get really cheap deals. But Rent Auto for me have been amazing via Zest. So I hope that helps you, Peter, there. And I must put that resource up somewhere so that you can find that. We'll put that in our benefits. I think we'll get that in our benefit package on expatsportugal.com as well. Hello, Xander. Good evening to you. Thank you for your company on Monday night on the music show. Really enjoyed that on the new platform. That was great fun. Here you are again. Is there a single pass card that can be used on all the different public transportations? I forget which one I had when I was there, but it didn't cover everything. Right, in Lisbon, in the capital of Portugal, you can get something like this, the Viva card. I'm using a green screen, so when I hold this green card up, it will pretty much disappear or go a different color. But look, the Viva card there, a plastic one, you know, you can get the cardboard Viva travel pass, and you charge them up on the ticket machines in Lisbon. And yeah, I mean, you can get all over the place with the Viva system on the ferries, on the metro, on the buses, on some of the trains. It's quite extraordinary. So yeah, use the Viva system. And again, if you want to sort that out, if you want to shop for that online before you come, it's all doable at, let's see, portalviva.pt, all the W's, .portalviva.pt, and you'll be, obviously they'll do that in bilingually, if not more, probably Spanish, Portuguese, English and American on that site, and you'll be able to buy it and set it up and find out what you're up against. And then as you land at the airport, all the machines are there, and you can charge up the card in the way that you want to. Hope that helps, Xander, and I hope that's what you meant. My Millennium Falcon is going to die here. So sad after all these adventures. Is that your old motor, Will? It's a bit like you. You're the what? You're the Harrison Ford character, or are you the Skywalker? I don't know, but you seem like you might be Harry Ford with, you know, the pilot of your old banger. You can do anything with it. It doesn't maybe look much, but you can have the most amazing adventures in it. So your motor's on the way out, is it? Sorry to hear that. No problem. There's motorcycles as well. The other sort of items for sale there. So OLG again is the recommendation of Joel for motorbikes as well. Fantastic. Here's a good name, T1000 V20. Hi, is it still possible to register for residency in Portugal as a UK citizen? Yes, you've got 15 days. And don't forget, there's a Christmas shutdown coming as well, but it's still doable. We're traveling there on the 21st of December, but can't figure out how to go about it. Do I need an appointment? Yes. The place you need to go, and you need to prove you're living here. You can't just rock up and say, look, I'd like to become a resident of Portugal, because, you know, you might be a tourist. You could be anybody. You need to have the intention of living here. And so you must get a lease of some sort to prove that you're here, and face other sorts of credential checks. But the place to do it is, first of all, to prove you live here at the parish level and have your attestado from your local freguesia, where, you know, if it's a friend you're living with, they can vouch for you and say that you live here and you live with them. That's fine. And that will be a proven stamped document, an official document, the attestado. And then you will take that to a Câmara Municipal, which is basically a town hall or a city hall, and you will talk to an official there. letting them know that you intend to become a resident of Portugal. And of course, until the end of December, that's a much easier process for UK people than it is for anyone else, the third countries, as it were, outside of the EU. So it is possible, but like Louise says, you've got to get a move on. It also depends on the region and the car when it comes to buying. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about secondhand cars, isn't it? They are a one-off. So you have to have some luck. And that's why I think as well, it's best, it's good to have a friend of a friend and just be in touch with Portuguese people whose friends are selling cars and get that recommendation. Lauren says, Louise, the man cave is a lot of fun. Just bring a brew or a glass of wine. Louise, thanks for the resource OLX. I'm looking on there now. Multitasking. Very good, Louise. That's wonderful. Hi, mate. Yes, there's one for all in Lisbon and Porto. That's presumably the travel cards you were talking about there, Diogo. Similar system in Porto. T1000 V20 says, was told to do it through the SCF, but seeing videos of people just saying to go to the camera in the city you want to live in, but I called them and they said contact the SCF. Did that but can't get through. Yeah, that is a problem you're going to face at the moment. And of course, the advice that's being given here is the in principle advice, and of course it will vary in reality according to what restrictions and lockdown practices the cameras have entered into. I mean, if you're coming on the 21st anyway, I guess you've got to go at it, no holds barred, haven't you? And bang on the door of Seth, bang on the door of the camera, and book appointments ahead of that if you can. So don't do one or the other. If you're being told by the camera to go to SCF, do that. If you're being told by the SCF to go to the camera, do that as well. Do everything that gets suggested. That's been my approach here, is don't argue about which is the best way. Follow every lead and go to the portals of these places. If you know where you're going to be, and you should do, if you've got a lease and you're planning to live somewhere, you should be able to find out an email address for the town hall, city hall, the camera, and email them and say what your intentions are and ask for an appointment. Similarly with SCF, ask for an appointment. You might get lucky, and I know it's really difficult at the moment, but you might get lucky, and you won't get lucky if you don't try. It's like a lottery ticket, isn't it? You can't win the lottery if you don't buy the ticket. So bang on the doors. Go, I mean, not literally, because that's not going to help you, but make appointments with as many possible people as you can and leave no stone unturned, T1000 V20. Well, yes, it's absolutely right. We've read this before, but it's worth saying again. Portuguese are all heart, a very hearty nation, no doubt about it. And, in central Portugal, arguably that is the heart of Portugal. Goha, we've done that. I don't know if that was useful to you. Let me know. Context for car. I'd like to look at moving to and living in Lisbon, including my family residency citizenship. Be good to have them all with you, Dinesh, for that. And you do need, it just sounds a bit too laid back for my liking. You're thinking about it. If you're going to do it, get on with it, is my advice, and it's Louise's advice as well. I already have a project going in Portugal, the Portuguese Network Operators Group, which I started in a non-profit way, and I managed to get a NIF number a few years ago. You will need a NIF. Everybody needs a NIF here. So yes, you'll be taking your NIF number when you apply for residency, of course, as well. Sorry, forgot to mention that. But yes, all financial life in Portugal revolves around the NIF number. So you've got that, Dinesh, which is great. Tell me more. PM me. With the Portuguese or info about the Portuguese Network Operators Group. What is that? What sort of network? Are we talking about you're a techie guy, you're IT sort of stuff? Let me know. Could be interesting. I'll talk to you on the show maybe sometime about it. I'm looking for one partner for the Algarve, says Diogo. I'm not sure what you mean, Diogo. Do you mean like a life partner? Are you using the Portugal Show as a kind of dating service tonight? It's fine by me, I think. I think that's okay. But let us know more, Diogo. Partner? What do you mean? James McPherson, we just joined. Have you just signed up on premium? I wish I had a jingle for that, but I'm ringing a virtual bell. Thank you very much, James. Indeed, really appreciate it. I don't think you'll regret it. It will give you access to a whole world of perks, benefits, freebies, and so on. So thank you for doing that. Really appreciate it. But how and where do you apply? Because I'm seeing and hearing different things. Sorry, just to bounce off Dinesh's comment. I hope I've cleared that up now. go to SEF if that's what you're being told to do. Go to your camera if that's what you're being told to do. And yes, don't leave any stones unturned. Time is running out. And as a UK person, you're in a privileged position to do it. And just as Louise says here, both you, T1000, V20, and Dinesh, get on a plane and do it. But all similarly, get on a plan and do it. And all the advice you need is on the Expats site. Yes, you come to Lisbon 5 times a year. Great, Dinesh. We've established that now. And I hope this is helping. A silly question. Love a silly question, Richard. Good evening to you on YouTube. But when English movies are played in Portuguese theatres, are they usually in English with Portuguese subtitles, or are they dubbed in Portuguese? They are in Portuguese, I believe, with English subtitles, unless they are children's movies. And then the children's movies, I think, because the market is slightly different for children's movies. I'm happy to be corrected on this because I have young children, and Mrs. M and I don't get out much. But from what I've heard, from what I know from other people who've been to the cinema, can't remember the last time I went to cinema. Oh God! Thanks, Richard, for reminding me about that. But as I understand it, the cinemas are fantastic here. Often part of a shopping complex where you can have something to eat, go see the movie in all the big towns. And I think there are some small. I mean, from where I live in Anadia here, there's a lovely little theatre/cinema that shows the big movies that I think you're talking about here. And as I understand it, the English language movies are in they're played in Portuguese theatres with, thank you very much, cup of tea from Mrs. M. When did we last go to got a little bit, I don't know if you want to be on camera, but you seem to have a bit of, have you just come in from the garden?
Oh,
seem to have a little
cutting
bit
spring onions.
Cutting spring onions fresh from the garden. There's Mrs. M
not
here.
really our garden,
Our bioponic system. That's a whole other story, folks. But this is the lady.
Voila.
We haven't been to the cinema for a long time.
Ever. Oh, no. Not on our own.
Possibly not. But yeah, Richard D. Sorry, this is turning into a really long answer to your question. As I understand it, the movies are in Portuguese with English subtitles, and the children's are dubbed into English. Please correct me. Will may know the answer. May correct me on that.
Children's are in Portuguese. The children's are in Portuguese.
The children's are in Portuguese, says Mrs. M. The adults are in English. The other way around to what I said. Yeah. This is going well tonight, isn't it? Ask anything about Portugal and get the wrong answer. Sorry.
Speak, English.
Okay. All right. Well, leave that hanging there, and we'll get. I mean,
no, that's how Mike and Dee go.
That's what I thought I was reporting.
They can watch their movies in English.
The movies are in English, folks. The big blockbusters are. Okay, now I understand. Now I understand myself, and it's been a long time coming. But yes, the big movies will be in English, and I think they have Portuguese subtitles, and it's the children's ones that they bother to translate into Portuguese. Okay, that's what I'm going to go with for now. All right.
That's what everyone says.
And that, yes, luckily Mrs. M walked in at that time with my cup of tea. So the big movies are in English. The children's movies, they bother to dub into Portuguese. Let's go with that. Let's go with that unless we're challenged. Say who knew again one more time. Do I say who knew a lot? Sorry. Yes, movies are on original language with subtitles, unless they're children's, right, Joel? Please confirm that for me. Louise, how and where did you register? I don't know if you want to answer that or not, Louise. Portuguese, but in Brazil, they are dubbed. Okay, good answers here to Richard D's question there. Due to the days of sun, I really fancy getting a Tesla I can run on solar power. Just running the car from sunlight will be so cool. It will, but not in the last week here, Peter. You'll get a little spurt of sunshine, solar power, which might get you to the shops. But mate, seriously, you will need another. I mean, I was seeing today all over Portugal, going to Lisbon today, I'm seeing electric cars plugged in. I think this country is really getting behind electric cars. So there are many places to charge up. But that does sound, you will look a picture with your Tesla with its body panels of solar receptors. So yeah, keep me informed. We'll come out and do a road trip with you. We'll have to film that one, Peter, when you get over here with your solar powered Tesla car. Keep us informed. Thanks, Safiro. And I'll put in brackets there Richard, you were far more helpful than Carl was on this matter. Thank goodness you're here, Joel, tonight. So Pete's here as well tonight. Pete Wilton Davis. I bought a 1976 Yamaha 125 and had it restored. Wow. By an amazing mechanic called Doug Selway. Sorry, who knew? Hashtag who knew? Sorry, Will, but I didn't know Doug Selway was a mechanic as well as a, what are they called? Street artist. He and Elena Selway are legendary human statues in the street, traveling all over Portugal, doing that wonderful stuff. And there you go. Doug Selway is a mechanic as well, and he restored Pete Wilton Davis's 1976 Yamaha 125. Did you have that as one of those as a kid, Pete? Is that why you wanted to do that? And did you buy it to just sort of pootle about your village in central Portugal, or have you been on Route 66? Have you toured around, road tripped with that? Let us know, Pete. But thank you for that input. That's really helpful. What is the minimum wage in Portugal? You don't want to know, but then you probably do if you ask the question. And I believe it's 650 euros a month. Just recently, or 665 euros a month. And the government just voted to raise it to 695, I believe, in the new year. That extra euro a day would just about buy everyone a coffee. But I mean, it's miserable. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't know how people do it. But BMW 540 ISE, is that an aspirational name for the kind of car you want, or the car you've got? That is the minimum wage in Portugal. 665, I believe, rising to 695 in the new year. Oh, okay. The Diogo mystery. I'm in England and looking for a partner for the Algarve. One partner for the Algarve. But you still haven't said business or pleasure, Diogo. Let us know. At T1000 V20, I got my NIFA bank account in Coimbra and I'd registered in Anadia. Very straightforward. So there you go. Anadia are used to taking people through the process. So you could go to Anadia and be thinking, hold on a minute, how is it if suddenly there's this influx of expats here? But yeah, there you go. Get your NIF number, make sure you've got a Portuguese bank account, and make sure you've got proof of living in the country, and go to the camera. I don't think, Louise, I don't think you went to SCF, did you? You went to the camera to do that. And that's why that was the advice that I was giving, go to the camera. But if they are saying go to SCF, go to SCF. Like I said, explore every avenue. You don't have much time left. Will Thompson had a Yamaha. This is becoming a nerdy bike thread. He had a Yamaha TZR 125R in 1994. Ended so well. Zest Rent Auto, my combination for car hire there. Go hire. There have been requests for native foreign speakers for jobs in Portugal, mainly French and German. But even if it's just a second language and you have enough skills, some should be available. Yeah, and I know other people. There are people who speak French, German, English. I guess it's possible to get jobs on that basis. And a few people, uncannily, who I know are teaching English to Chinese kids, and not just Chinese kids, Chinese people, Chinese families based in Portugal, and they work from home doing that. So there is an option. But I thought you meant the job market. Going into town, asking around in the cities for work. I don't think that's going to be easy. And that's where I use the phrase, I don't mean to pee on your chips. And I don't. Louise, thanks. But did you need to book an appointment? I called the camera in Castelo Branco and they said, I don't do it through them. And they gave me a number for SCF and I need an appointment. Yes. And this is where, when you get into this long grass and the grey areas, I think some cameras are making the referral elsewhere. But that's not to say you can't do it at a camera. It's just probably what they're suggesting at Castelo Branco. And I think there's a high percentage of expats in that area as well, T1000 V20 as well. So maybe, given that time is tight, look for another camera, look elsewhere, in a tried and tested Câmara Municipal. Take the right stuff, take the NIF number, which you get from Finanças, take your Portuguese bank account, make sure there's some wonga in there to show that you can support yourself, and pop along to the camera in a place where they're used to doing it, such as Anadia. I know that Caldas de Reina have been very helpful recently to people as well. Alcobaça, Caldas de Reina, Silver Coast, they're used to dealing with expats. That might be another option for you. Dinesh, T1000 V20, I got my NIF on the same day in the Loja de Cidadão. the Citizen Shop. Yeah, that's where you'll find Finanças in the centre of Lisbon. Needed it for a Portuguese bank account. It was quite easy. Thank you, everybody, coming in with your help here on our feature tonight. Let's get that back up on the screen. The Ask Anything About Portugal. Are we trending yet on Twitter on hashtag AAAP? I wonder. We do have a Twitter account, but, you know, I'm not really interested in getting into arguments about whether Trump won the election or not. Isn't that just what happens on Twitter? Any road. Let's go back to your fabulous comments. This has been such a busy and excellent night tonight. We really are working this well. The Ask Anything About Portugal. It's a Wednesday feature. It's going to become a Wednesday feature, folks. I'm loving it. Safiro, not anymore. Most movies in Brazil are in English with subtitles in movie theaters, but dubbed on TV. Okay, that was the little nuance there of the movies in Brazil, or the Hollywood movies in Brazil anyway. I called but couldn't get through to them, so I'm just confused now. Yep. Okay. I mean, I hear your anxiety and your challenge here, T1000 V20. If you can't get through, you can't get through. I would say keep trying, and then you're coming, as I understand it, on the 21st, and go see the people, and just, you know, just do your best to get seen, set appointments. What else can you do at this late hour and with the intention you've got? So keep calling, arrive, go knocking, and, you know, just keep at it. You won't regret it. I'm sure there will be some light at the end of the tunnel. Good luck, boa sorte, with that. Zest, who I recommended, Louise also says are great. It's so dead for them at the moment. I hope people can support them. Yes, there is that. You know, with the blow to tourism, it's not good. It won't have been an easy year for Zest, so I'm sure they'll gratefully receive any custom. They haven't hiked their prices up. You know, I've got a really good deal at the moment, so bless them, bless Zest and Rent Auto. I think some car hire companies will fold. That's what I've been told here in Portugal. So Dinesh just queued up at the Citizen Shop. No need for an appointment there. So it does vary. Don't be put off T1000 V20. We're all rooting for you now, aren't we? A little bit of to and fro between Eduardo and Joel there. That's fantastic. Is the Viva like the London Oyster? It absolutely is, Louise, but not as expensive. You'll be glad to hear. And I think, you know, you can do some cool journeys on it, which to me are a whole lot much cooler than some of the London trips. Well, I grew up in London, so I guess that's I'm a bit blasé about it. But the you know, going on a tram, going on a ferry in Lisbon, going from Cais de Sodré across to Casillas on the ferry is such fun. You get to see the Abril 25 bridge. It's fantastic, and it's really good value. You can cross on the ferry, I think, for a couple of euros. I mean, you just charge your card up and use it, but it's very, very good value. Much better than the Oyster card. I'm not sure that comes as no surprise to you. Cool. Yep, I'm clear on the NAF, the NEAF number. Know what I have to do for that, but I'm getting tripped up on the residency registration. Yeah, I just have every sympathy for you. Time is running out. Things are getting a bit stressed. All I can say to you, T1000 V20, arrive here, enjoy your time as much as you can in Portugal, and keep knocking on those doors, keep making those calls, and I think your persistence will pay off. Xander liked my answer. What was that? That was about the Viva cards, wasn't it? I'm actually going to buy some land. Sounds wonderful. Keep us informed there. Send us some pictures to our Happy Homesteaders group as that develops, T1000 V20. The other thing is, if you've got a paper trail of having tried to become a resident, I think you might be able to carry. Don't quote me on this or take it as, gospel. But if you've really tried to register, and you've got a paper trail of that, and you can prove that you've been trying, I think that will stand you in good stead in the new year. There may be better news in the new year. I mean, they have to make a cut-off point, don't they? And the transition period ends on the 31st of December. But I think there is this understanding between the British and Portuguese governments that transcends the EU difficulty, if I call it that. So just keep trying in the new year and demonstrate that you have been trying this year. And that may work in your favor. Paper trail. But we'll be there temporarily in the meantime. Okay, yeah. I would do that. Paper trail. All that you're trying to do it's not for want of trying, is it? So if you can demonstrate that, that may stand you in good stead for 2021. Rolf, good evening to you, Rolf Fernley. So we bought a property in 2015, opened a bank account with a view to retiring in the Algarve. But because of the impending Brexit unknowns and our pensions being paid in the UK, what, if any, is a good option financially? I don't quite know what you mean, Rolf. Again, give us a bit of context. Take that onto the expatsportugal.com forum. But what is, if any, is a good option financially? In what sense? I mean, I still think, retiring to the Algarve is still a cracking idea. It's been hard hit by the pandemic, like so many places around the world. And if you have a bank account and you have a NIF, I think it might be worth, if you can, applying for residency. I'm sitting in the Algarve. The cameras are going to be used to dealing with expats, aren't they? It sounds to me like a good insurance policy. You're not going to lose out on being British, essentially, in terms of being a passport holder, and you can have dual citizenship. So, for me, the good option is to get residency here if you still can. But I don't quite know what's behind your question there. T1000, email SEF, says Fiona, and keep emailing until you get an appointment. Yep, persistence, I think. Cheers, we'll just try what I can, absolutely. Don't phone, use email, then you have a record. There's the paper trail. Yes, so email them, explain what your intentions are. You'll have that copy, won't you, of the email and your paper trail. Brilliant. We're working as a team here. This is fantastic. Well said, Carl. Not sure what about, but I'll take it. Thanks, Steve. T1000. This is beautiful. How this hive mind is coming together to help T1000V20. Go into a local camera. I emailed and called and got the best results from walking in. I didn't make any appointments. Obviously, it varies in different towns, but just do it, says Louise. Top Portugal coach now. Having been, it's amazing, isn't it? You're the other side of that veil, Louise, and now giving that encouragement to others. That's fantastic. Eugene McCrossan, here we go, from Ireland. Hola, bon dia todos. Carl, how much for a steak or seafood dinner and a few libations in Portugal? Let me tell you what I had at Down Under. I met Chef Justin Jennings at his restaurant. This is in the Estrela part of Lisbon this lunchtime. Mate, we had, I had a Malaysian fish bouillabaisse. Then I went into salmon, Indonesian salmon with rice noodles. It was, I mean, is that Australian food? I think in Australia you can eat like that all over the place. So that's what they're saying is, this Australian style of cuisine that draws from all over the world, and obviously from the Far East, the Balinese experience and all that sort of thing. And there was kangaroo on the menu, and there was crocodile and other things that you would may associate with Australia. But that the starters were, you could have a starter and a main for €15, and it was really well cooked, really nice place, nice part of town. Libations, don't know, didn't drink any beer this lunchtime, but you're probably only looking at €2, €2.50 for a beer. So I think for the pair of you, you can have a great time for €50. It's somewhere like that. But then someone else gave me a recommendation today up in the north in Viana do Castelo, a daily special at €6, and that's you can have soup as a starter with that and a main, and you probably get a coffee chucked in as well. So everything from like €15 for two of you right up to €50 and have something really special. And then beyond that, I mean, you can spend as much as you want in Lisbon, obviously, but you're going to have good food for under €20 for the pair of you if you just go into a regular cafe and ask for the daily special. I hope that helps, Eugene. Great to have you here tonight. Clap and welcome to James. Clapped in there, becoming a member. Did someone say dating service? Lol. Well, I think Diogo is looking for someone to live with in the Algarve. It's not a bad offer, Victoria. Not at all is possible. Okay. It's for a hotel with a restaurant. Okay. So you want a partner, like a business partner to come in with you in a hotel with a restaurant in the Algarve. Well, PM me, Diogo. I'm interested. Louise, thanks. Yep, was just trying to do as much as I can before I go. But yep, plan is arriving in Lisbon, and the next day we'll start knocking on doors. Thanks for your help, everyone. I'm sorry we can't help more. You know, I just want to be able to help you out and say, look, just do this, and jobs are good. But it's not like that at the moment, is it? So, you know, good luck with that, and come back to us. Yeah, get it on the Expats for Portugal forum and just have a lifeline there. You know, you can ask people whilst you're here, you know, from your smartphone or whatever, and have a bit of a lifeline and a bit of support. Thank you, sir, for the kind but rather confused reply. So sorry, Richard, we got there in the end, didn't we? Dinesh is saying, hello, Mrs. M. This is going back a bit. Carl, movies are in. Okay, so we've dealt with the movie thing. The movies have subtitles in Portuguese. Okay, Louise saying, hello, Mrs. M as well. Lovely to see Mrs. M, says Fiona. Come back, Mrs. M. You're really popular. I'm not going to continue to do this thing where you say Will may know the answer, and then when I say anything, it's about as welcome as a fart in a space. No, not play. Will, I'm not ignoring your comments. I promise you. I don't know where you've said something, or I just haven't got to it yet. I've got so many more answers than I can cope with at the moment. So, Will, I'm not ignoring you, but I think he's got the hump already. Everybody, good to hear about electric cars proliferation in Portugal. I drive an electric car in the US and was concerned that maybe there was a lack of charging stations. No, certainly not. They're getting right behind it. Mime artist, says Shandeep. Yes, we're going right back to Doug and Elena Selway there. Dinesh, Richard D. Last time I was in Lisbon, I noticed free parking for EVs in the centre of town. That's a good deal. Fiona, yep, 650 rising to only 665. Oh my God. But under 700 euros, that's for sure, minimum wage. Richard D, electric cars are more common now in the big cities in Portugal. Also, charging stations are available on the main highways for the big cities. Teslas are not that commonplace, okay? Pete, Doug Selway is a motorcycle artist as well as an ex-British sidecar racing champion and team owner. Wow, very talented family. My bike is for tootling. English, Elizabeth. Hi, Sally. Yes, Joel, I don't know about other cities, but in Lisbon you find children's films usually have showings of both dubbed and in the original language of the film. My God, we got there in the end. Hi, Carl. May I get your comments, please? Kind sir, I'll do my best. I have a property in Portugal, central Portugal, but never lived there full-time, only visiting for holidays until I retire in 5 years' time. Your question, Andre, is, do you think I'll be able to get residency later? I have a NIF number for the last 15 years. Well, if you don't get your residency before the 31st, you're likely to be treated, in the worst-case scenario, as a third country resident, and you will apply like everybody else, D7, D2. However, they may look favorably on the fact that you've had a property in central Portugal and you've had a NIF number for the last 15 years and you've probably got a bank account here. But, you know, they're not, these will all be good mitigating factors, but I don't think they're going to help you breeze through a visa process necessarily. So if you can do it before the end of the year, that's got to be good. And you obviously know the lie of the land, and you're, you know, you would think, wouldn't you, if you've got property here, you would be welcomed. And I'm hoping that there will be something that makes the situation better than the third country kind of option, because of the history that goes back to the 14th century of the alliance between Portugal and the UK. But do it before the end of the year if you can. I'd love to get a bike and ride out with others. Anyone know of any social cycling clubs? I'm in Caldas de Reina. I'll leave that hanging there for anybody who might be able to answer that. English, Lisboa, yes. To my knowledge, Porto, there's that option too. That's the dubbing of films. For anyone in Lisbon, I recommend the Cinemateca if you like old movies. Lovely building with cafe, restaurant, and just $3.20 a ticket. Amazing. I went to see a silent film with live piano the other week at the Cinemateca. What a lovely recommendation and experience. Thank you. We'll let you guys know how I get on. I'm sure it's going to be an adventure. It sure is. That's the thing. Retain that spirit of adventure. You might get a few more gray hairs or want to be pulling your hair out at certain parts of this, but you are going to be in Portugal. And albeit a little bit cooler, maybe a little bit rainier at the moment, I think you'll have a lovely time in this country. Keep a sense of humor, pack a lunch, pack a book, or take your tablet into these interminable queues. But yeah, keep your sense of humor and see it as an adventure. It's good advice to yourself there. Fiona, also, once he's here, contact oh yes, of course, my guest on the show yesterday morning, the International Organization for Migration. The interview we did yesterday morning, perhaps, yes, check out the YouTube video from yesterday morning, because it has all the links to the IOM. They are helping people who are already here, I think, and in some sort of risk or concern or anxiety, it's worth a shot with the IOM. Absolutely. Good shout there, Fiona. If we retire, says Rolf in the Algarve, we have the threat of our UK bank account being closed. We have temporary. Oh, you've already got your residency. This UK bank thing, Rolf, I think is a bit of a red herring. I think because of EU law, they have to shut business accounts. But the Guardian, I think, got a bit carried away with this whole shutting accounts down. And it was just typical sort of fear mongering from some of the press. There is no evidence of that yet of banks. And when people have called their banks have said, no, we're not doing that. Credit cards slightly different because I think that might be affected. You might not be able to keep a credit card, a British credit card while you're here in Portugal. But, Portuguese bank accounts are easy to open. There are things like Revolut. There are new banking systems that you can use. So I wouldn't make that, for me, that wouldn't be the idea of losing my UK bank account would not stop me from making a new life in Portugal. Absolutely not. Marcos Vabon, hello, Carl. In this Christmas, for a Christmas taste, try the liqueur de Berão. And he often recommends that. We've got to do it at some point. Oh, says Victoria, and I'm not sure why. Carl and Safiro, what is the current feeling in Portugal about wild camping? Been a bit of a crackdown in parts of Portugal, down there in the south, and even some vigilantes got involved because they were fed up with the local town hall and the police not doing anything about it. They went down there with their cameras. I think it's a problem of people being in too greater numbers and being disrespectful. I imagine there are lots of people under the radar who are like ninjas or Native Americans, and they tidy up after themselves, and you don't even know they've been there. That's the way to do it, and that's the way to avoid trouble, I believe. But where they arrive in big numbers, to quote Donald Trump, and they don't clear up after themselves, it pees people off, and people do stuff about it. So in those popular areas, it's not too popular with the locals, but if you're going to wild camp, you should do it in a way that you don't get seen, caught, and you tidy up after yourself. I didn't say that. It's in your hands what you choose to do about that. There's some working agencies in Lisbon, says Diogo, and Porto. They look for, I guess, English speakers is what's being said there. Diogo, thank you for that. Are the cinemas open? I believe they are, Louise, at the moment. A socially distanced cinema experience. Sorry for the cloudy question, but we're concerned about how our pensions can be paid into our Portuguese account. I've got you. I would try Revolut. Revolut are taking salary payments. There's no reason. Well, there is a reason, but I would try that. Get that on a forum or ask in a Revolut user group if anyone has had their pension paid. This is going to be a consumer-led thing, I think. And I suppose it depends on whether the government, what types of accounts the government will pay pensions into. There must be a way of doing this. Take that to the forum. There will be some smart minds who figured this out. Yeah. That's not insurmountable, isn't it? And certainly something that shouldn't stop you being in Portugal. On the face of it, yeah, it sounds like a disaster, but I'm sure, given the amount of people who want to do that, there will be a solution. Will, is this what you said that I didn't read out? I generally only get to hunt with people I care about. Humanity, we are all immature. Will, I still can't see what I'm supposed to have read out, but I didn't. You know me, mate. I don't want to upset you. Joel, Louise, sorry, I can't confirm if they're open. It's been over a year since my last time at the movies. I believe they may be open, but I'm not sure, says Joel, whose last movie he saw sounds like me was Jaws or Saturday Night Fever. Revolut and TransferWise are both very good for bank accounts. Yeah, I think that the issue here, Dinesh, for Rolf is whether the British government, if that's what the pension is in question here, whether a government will pay into Revolut or TransferWise. I'm sure Revolut are such a progressive company, they will be encouraging the UK government to pay into their accounts. Whether they are successful in that or not, I don't know, but it's worth having a little root around and finding out. Hope that helps, Rolf. Ola, Carl, any personal thoughts on when Americans can at least come for a vacation? Charles, $64 million question or what? Who knows, mate? I was asking someone today, my colleague who goes to America fairly regularly, when do you think? Nobody knows at the moment, do they? And if anyone here knows, tell Charles, please. But it's a horrible situation and one that I hope resolves soon. But I've got nothing apart from a bit of seaweed or a wet finger to tell you anymore on that. For occupational pensions, just fill in a mandate for the pension fund to pay into a Portuguese bank account. Yeah, and I think the distinction there, Mark, is obviously a corporate occupational pension, they'll pay wherever you ask them to pay, yeah. But a British government pension might want a British bank account. I think that is the distinction here. Campers and wild campers have been asked over and over again for decades. There is toilet paper everywhere in beauty spots, so you all got your privileges taken away. What did you think would happen? There you go. There's your answer, Will. From Will to whoever that was asking about what. Oh, it was Eugene, wasn't it? I imagine Eugene, you're a smart fella. You know, you're going to stay away from these places where too many wild campers. It's not very wild camping, is it? If there are 20 other people doing it there as well in all kinds of RVs and not tidying up after themselves. I think it's between you and me. I think it's doable, but you just have to not be an idiot about it. And I would have wanted to use a stronger word there, but I'll stick with idiot for the time being. Cinemas are open. There you go. Less people in the room and with masks on. So socially distanced cinema, as I thought. Ree, is it easy to adopt a dog or a cat in Portugal? Yes, Ree. Depending, and we have our Barcelo award-winning Will Thompson here, who adopted a big old bear of a dog only days ago. How is the big fella, Will? But do you know what, Ree? When you arrive here in Portugal, I imagine if you're the sort of person who sees a kitten in the street and has to pick it up and give it a home, you'll have adopted a cat or a dog within the first week of being here. And then you got the problem of how you stop doing that by the time you started a kind of a rescue center. It is very easy. And there are many rescue centers looking for homes for both dogs and cats here in Portugal. Since we've been here, I've taken on a puppy, Jimmy Choo. Some of you know Jimmy Choo. Peggy just turned up one day in the garden. We've had about 7 cats that have come and gone for various reasons, and bred, and we've moved the kittens on. They turn up. It is too easy. Ree is my answer to you. Joel, maybe next year, or next year, maybe. That's really definite, Joel. And next year sounds such a long way away. Next year is only 16 days away. So if it's in 17 days' time, that would be awesome. But it's not looking like it, is it? I think you've got the matter of a new president that will. Isn't that the key determinant with this? You know, the administration change and how that's viewed, and the new president settling in. Won't that be a massive determining factor here? Everyone's in tonight, including NY Unix Guru. All the fabulous names and faces we've grown to love. A lovely big audience tonight on this Ask Anything About Portugal special. I saw on YouTube a Brits Wild Campers van got graffitied whilst they were sleeping. Sorry to laugh. But I mean, and yeah, that's not funny really. But I can, you know, people are peed off with wild campers taking the pee, you know, not being respectful. And this is people have got frustrated and they've taken it into their own hands. And that's why that's happened. Goodness gracious, that's serious. Mark Rigby, gov.uk pensions. You will need to tell the UK government offices that deal with your benefits, pension and tax if you're moving or retiring abroad. If you retire in Portugal, you can claim your state UK pension or new UK state pension. Contact the International Pension Centre to claim. Cheers, Mark. Really helpful. Another question. We've gone way over time here. Hi, mate, from DS UK. Do you have to pay tax in Portugal as well as UK if you register in Portugal as a British national? No, you will pay tax here. There is a double taxation treaty, so you don't have to pay it twice, but get yourself a decent accountant to make sure you don't get yourself into trouble with that. You need professional help. My attempts to do that myself through the Finances portal have been pretty much disastrous. And I do recommend a word of mouth referral for an accountant, an expert in the field that you work in, somebody who you know has got a similar business here and trusts their accountant and has been through the process for a tax year or two. Get a referral, get a word of mouth referral, and pay tax here. You will be a British national, but if you're raising your invoices in Portugal, you will pay tax, both EVA potentially, the VAT, and your income tax if you're living in Portugal and running a business here. But you won't have to pay twice. Yes, adopt cats and dogs, easy process in Portugal, although it comes with a responsibility. I'm sure Ree is up to that. Frankie is doing great. This is the big fella who Will adopted. The village have taken him on. He is our village dragon now. That's fantastic. There's your answer to the question there, Ree. Frankie's did brilliantly. What's your ratio of friends who are local and who are expats? That's very personal, Layla, but I don't mind. And I missed your question before, didn't I? Do you think that shapes someone's experience or ability to assimilate? I've been lucky to work here. So you meet a lot more Portuguese people. Obviously, if you go into the world of work, I go out, I go to cafes, I make a fool of myself speaking Portuguese. I'm quite a sociable person. My ratio, I know more Portuguese people than I do English people. Actually, in my vicinity. Yeah, locally. Yes, I don't have many English friends for some reason. The ones I do aren't in my physical vicinity, and it definitely shapes your experience. If you're an Englishman, for example, whose home is his castle, and you don't go out much, and you watch English telly, and you play golf with your English mates, that is not going to be, in my view, a rich experience or one that I would recommend. And those are my least favorite expats, but each to their own. So definitely. For me, I've got more Portuguese. I know more Portuguese people than I do expat people, although I do hang out with expats from time to time. And it definitely shapes your experience without a doubt, Layla. I'm trying to scroll back to your earlier question. The first one you asked, I think I overlooked. So apologies. Please re-ask that. We've had so many comments and questions tonight. Let's go back to where we were. So Layla, I hope that helps. Ree, 1, you have to pay for the cat or dog to be chipped. 2, you have to fill a document for personal responsibility, since now by law, if anyone abandons an animal, it is punishable by the government. Let me just have a sip of tea. Layla, I'm still drinking British tea. However, I do drink a lot of coffee. 4 Portuguese coffees today, I think. 4 shots of coffee, and I'm getting into the Portuguese habit. Yeah, and animal abandonment has gone up in the pandemic. That I was reading an article about that on the show the other day. So unfortunately, repension. Some changes come into play from the 1st of January 2021. Unfortunately, it all depends on what deal the UK gets. Yes, it's in the realm of the unknowns, isn't it? To a great extent. Cecilia, is it easy to get a visa to stay longer than 3 months with a US passport? And how about renewing it after? Longer than 3 months, I think you need to be looking at a D7. We have a business directory with people who will help you. If it's a D2 you're interested, we have a webinar about that tomorrow night. How easy it is, I mean, it's all relative, isn't it? For me, as a UK person who got a residency here, via the EU, when I look at what you Americans have to do, I think, oh my word, that looks so difficult and challenging. Easy, very subjective. We have Americans among us here who are making those steps. They're better off telling you whether they found it easy or not. Again, take it to the expatsportugal.com forum. Peggy, Prosecco Peggy on there will tell you. I think when I interviewed her one night. It's time consuming, and it's resource consuming, and it's a process which takes a while. That's in a sense not easy, but I don't think she found it especially arduous or difficult. She just went through the process, and she's very happy in the Algarve now. I hope that helps. So easy is a bit subjective there. Portuguese government is going to open the lockdown day 25th and 1st of January. Okay, so yes, we are having an open Christmas, although that could change, couldn't it? If the numbers keep going up as they seem to be doing. Let me qualify that. Repensions, any changes apply to anyone moving after the 1st of January. Thank you. So again, the impetus, the urgency is in doing all of this before the 31st, if you possibly can. I'd call him Bob if he wasn't already called Frankie. This is the big dog. Light up the darkness. How lovely. He sounds like a legend in your village already, only after a few days. Thank you, says Layla. So it looks like we helped Layla. The bad people in the world aren't taking a day off. How can I? It's well said, Will. It's like is that a superhero line? Is that Spider-Man, possibly? Thanks, Joel. It's the same in America, says Ree. Dinesh, Carl, my coffee at home in the UK is Delta Coffee. Well done, Dinesh. A proper Portuguese brand. Carl, how long did it take you to learn the Portuguese language? Me, the Portuguese language, and any tips? Yes. Sign up as a premium member of expatsportugal.com. Only €25. You get 15% off Mia Ejmerej's courses in European Portuguese. I can't say I've learned Portuguese. I have a go. I have good intentions. I can get by in a restaurant, ordering food, and I have complete Portuguese interactions with people in shops and cafes, and they are very patient with me. And I've been here 3 years, and I'm embarrassed to say that my progress is slow, but I'm giving it a go. Okay, Bob Marley, that's tying up that quote there. Bob Marley said the bad people in the world aren't taking a day off. He was a reggae superhero, right? How can I? And that's why Frankie might have been called Bob if it had been left to Will. Will, I hope we're all good, mate. I didn't mean to upset you, and I don't know what happens to some of your comments. I'm not ignoring them. You need to know that. I hope we have served you well tonight on this Ask Anything About Portugal outing, which has gone way over time. Mrs. M's going to be proper cross with me. I've been out all day in Lisbon. I come back, do a show. She brings me a cup of tea, and then I disappear for 90 minutes doing this. But thank you all for your questions. Thank you all for your answers. Thank you all for your company. It's been the most amazing show tonight. We've all done very, very well. We'll be back in the morning with the Good Morning Portugal show. Back with the D2 webinar tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Lisbon time, and then back soon after 9 with the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club, with a wine, fingers crossed, from up there in the northeast corner, Trás-os-Montes, through and beyond the mountains, literally. Looking forward to trying that red wine tomorrow night. Final comment then. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Carl from Dinesh. A pleasure. Hope we've helped. Will saying no woman, no cry. That helps too. Lots of thanks coming in. Tajar, very good, Dinesh. Cheers all later from Joel. Thanks, Carl, from Mark Taub. Thanks for your question. Sorry, I don't think I was very helpful to you, Mark, but hang on in there with me. I'll do all I can to help you, and we will at expatsportugal.com as well. Have a great night, everyone. See you in the wine club tomorrow night. Thumbs up for sure there, Eric. Looking forward to that one tomorrow night. Have sleep well. Boa noite. Ciao, ciao. Abraços, beijinhos, and a good night all from Fiona as well, new friend of the show. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao.